So Jordan, we're going to start off with some questions to get to know you a little bit better. What's your favourite food and who makes it?
My favourite food is actually pizza.
What would you say your secret talent is?
I don't think... I'm quite an open book, so if I feel like I'm passionate about something, then I kind of put it out there, whether that's on my Facebook page or any social media platform. I love to sing, so yeah, that's a secret talent of mine.
If you could write a book about anything at all, what would that book be about?
I am a creative writer, my BA is actually like a minor in English literature and a major in social anthropology. And I've also written a couple of plays, so when I do write, I always tend to write about my brother who took his own life when he was 13. So when I write, I like to try and bring him back to life in different ways. So if I was to write a book, it would be about him, about his life, and I would include a tragic ending because I think it's really important that the very reality, especially in our country, of youth suicide is out there.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in Tairāwhiti, what would that one thing be?
Oh, if it was a wand that would make things better. I know I'm young and I should be advocating for this because I am young and because I am trying to be a voice at the council table for youth. It would be climate change.
Why are you running for council?
I'm running for council because I think that there is a portion of our demographic who don't really get a say or maybe don't take interest in local government, and it tends to impact their life quite massively. They don't feel like they have any control over that, and so that is youth and people from low decile areas. I grew up in Elgin, so I know what that life is like. I'm running for council so that I can try and be a voice at the table. What
is the one thing, if you're elected, that you would be passionate about and drive for?
The arts. I would drive an updated arts policy. I know it's not at the top of the list for council. I know infrastructure is at the top of the list. I'd like to say the roads, but in reality I don't. That's not why I'm going to council. That's not what I'm passionate about. I know that it's important, but I know that well-being is the most important thing. I know people criticise well-being as being a flowery word. I completely disagree with that. The arts they obviously improve people's well-being. So if we had a stronger arts policy, particularly aimed at people in low decile areas, at school-aged kids, I think the opportunities that would come out of that for them and the benefit of their well-being is the most important thing.
Speaking about climate change, as it's one of your things that you're passionate about, what do you think council can do, or even yourself can do, to help slow it down or even to make a change?
That's a big question. That's why I prefer the magic wand. Something council could do, I guess, just on like a smaller scale, we could focus on planting natives. For instance, Rongo Whakaata planted 5,000 native trees at Te Whetowhetho Lagoon. Why is that not a priority to be planting? And pine trees. Why would we pick pine trees over native trees? I guess also on a smaller scale, recycling centres, education for our whānau. I think consumption culture is a really big problem. So resources and education to help our whānau kind of understand how they can help, because it is a collective thing. Council's not going to be the only one that's going to be able to fix it.
What do you think makes a good council, characteristics-wise, and what do you bring to the table in terms of those?
A good spread of people. I think we're meant to go into council to represent the community, and our community is very diverse. So I think that a good council makes up representatives from each pocket of that community as much as possible. So, we need our lawyers in there. We need people who really understand policies and legislations. We need people who are passionate and have good hearts. I think most councillors should have good hearts as much as they do good heads. And yeah, myself, I think that because I am a people person, I like to think I have good interpersonal relationships. I do that through my mahi, so I work as a line producer. I do a lot of programming, so I'm always engaging people, always engaging the community, and also in my discipline as a social anthropologist, I am genuinely interested in people and how they have relationships together, how they have relationships with their environment, and just generally with society, within society. So I think that as an anthropologist and as someone who's passionate about engaging with people, I would be a good asset to the table, also because I'm there with intent to represent the youth and people from low decile areas.
Who do you think are at-risk groups in the community, and what can we do to help them?
I think, youth, youth and people in low decile areas, youth, particularly youth who might be a bit different in how they identify. So I myself am Takatapui, I'm non-binary, but I'm also trans. So I think that we do have quite a significant group of youth within that rainbow community. They are at risk for many reasons, trying to understand and work through their identity within a small place like Gisborne. I know growing up here when I was 15 and I came out as a lesbian, that was so difficult for me. So yeah, I believe that they're at risk. So it'd be good, I think, for them to see someone like myself sitting at the council table.
Tell me about your thoughts on housing in Gisborne.
I think that rent is way too high. People can't even find houses to live in. As an example, my whānau, my sister, owns this house. It's actually in a trust for my nephews. So my two nephews live there. They share a room. They're both older teenage boys, so they're constantly butting heads. My sister is in another room, and then my mum and my stepdad live in the lounge. And I know people think that intergenerational living is a really cool way to mitigate the housing crisis, but it's not. It's just kind of how people are trying to survive. So I think that I definitely think that council could help remove a lot of barriers for people in that sort of situation. Just remove a bit of red tape, provide information, maybe provide free courses, or at least direct people in a good way. I actually myself, I started building a tiny house a couple of years ago, and the first thing I did was go to council because I wanted to see what sort of barriers might be in the way for me. And this gentleman came from the building area, and he told me, don't do it. And I was like, oh, what? What does that mean? And he said, oh, well, just don't do it, because what if you turn older and you can't, climb up the stairs? Or he didn't really have an answer for me. It was I was seen as being a bit weird for trying to find a solution for housing for myself. So yeah, I mean, I and a few of my friends, we did go through quite a big deep dive to try and understand how we could go over these barriers, go through finding loopholes to be able to live somewhere. I don't think that should ever exist. If we're in a housing crisis and people are sleeping in their cars and sleeping in garages, I think that, council could definitely help.
If you could sum yourself up in one word, what would that word be?
One word. Resilient. Yeah. I was going to say vulnerable, but I know how that might sound to some people. Vulnerable in a good way, but resilient. I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm still here, so